What if peace wasn't something distant, but something we practice together? Presented by New Thought Media Network, this is the Peace Dialogues with Reverend Christy Semple. Hear from today's peace influencers. Discover new perspectives on growing peace. Explore practical spirituality you can live every day. Because peace isn't just an idea, it's a way of being. Find out how you can become a peace influencer too. The Peace Dialogues with Reverend Christy Semple. Thursdays at 9 a.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network. And now, here's Rev Christy.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening from wherever you are joining us from. And welcome to Peace Dialogues, where we inspire new awareness that the garden of peace is growing in our world. And the seeds of peace are being planted and nurtured by people just like you and me every day through practical spirituality in real life. And each week, including today, we hear from a peace influencer who's involved in activities that are inspiring peace in our world every day. And we'll learn a whole new perspective on what it really means to grow peace and how we can be peace influencers too. So I'm your host, Reverend Christy Semple, a fellow gardener with you in the Garden of Peace in our world. We're going to have a peace dialogue here that will open us up to have new eyes to see that peace really is happening right here and right now. And so please, I'm excited to introduce and invite you to welcome with me Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, and welcome, Reverend Dr. Robert. Oh my goodness, so good, pleased and grateful that you are with us today. And I have I'll call it a concise bio that captures, oh my goodness, an important parts of what Reverend Dr. Robert does. He's vast in his experience and activities, and we'll talk more about those. But as an initial introduction, he's a New Thought minister, teacher, and essayist, and the spiritual and creative director of New Thought Media Network, where we are right now. And he serves on the executive board of the International New Thought Alliance, the board of directors of the affiliated New Thought Network, Anton, and the board of regents for the Emerson Theological Institute. So deeply involved in the New Thought teaching. And I will add to that, well, he's a visionary, and I'm going to say a catalyst, because Reverend Dr. Robert inspires us to think and to open up and to really see the world and see ourselves, see the world, see life from this beautiful, broader perspective. So welcome, Reverend Dr. Robert. Again, I'm so grateful that you're here today. And we were talking earlier and about, the wise quotations in New Thought and by other philosophers. And I thought there were a couple that you started with that I thought would be a good way to start our discussion here. And one of them being, and we probably or likely have heard this piece, well, and I'm going to let you share, peace is the way.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So thank you for having me this morning and inviting me along. It's I love how the synchronicity of spirit works, because today's July 2nd. It's we're heading into a holiday weekend here in the United States, and for those outside the United States, forgive us for our self-centeredness around freedom and the holiday here. But it's an important time right now, I believe, globally, when we look at the concepts of peace and freedom. And the quote you're speaking of is something I remember hearing way back when I very first got into this philosophy. And if I remember correctly, it's attributed to Gandhi. For the purists out there, if I got that wrong, please forgive me. But the quote was that there is no way to peace. Peace is the way. And what that always said to me was that it doesn't help, or it doesn't work, to try to create peace or to strive for peace or to advocate for peace or to be even, quote, an activist for peace, We have to be the demonstration of peace. We have to be peace in the world. And from that, the activism, the advocacy, all those things happen. And then we're given the opportunities to create more peace in the world. But we have to be that first.
Mm-hmm.
And in many ways, that is the very essence of the New Thought philosophy. We have to be what it is we desire. We have to be able to demonstrate what it is we desire in order to create more in the world. So there is no way to peace, but peace is the way.
That's beautiful, and thank you. And I'm glad that you said that in regard to the New Thought philosophy as well, that where we are coming from. And I was reminded the other day about the idea of enoughness, and in relation to prosperity and the experiences of life. If we're coming from that, if we're desiring to have more, but if we're not coming from a place of enoughness, then we're not building on that. And that's what you're talking about with peace. If we're not coming from that and recognizing that that is our essence, and then that inspires all that we do, and that it's woven in to the activities. It is, I don't know if gentle is the right way, but it can be nudges. It can, and it's that listening and being guided by that which is there that we are opening to. That's so good. Oh, I like that. And I'm so glad that you shared that. Certainly the wisdom of Gandhi, and that being.
And to me, there's another piece to all of this. Another portion of all this. I don't want to confuse myself here this morning. So there's another aspect to all of this, and that is that in order to be peace, I do have to recognize where I'm not at peace. And I've got to be able to articulate that. I can't deny that. I can't pretend it doesn't exist. I can't gloss over it. There's a long-standing tradition in America of the separation of church and state. And right now, there are movements, there's an attempt to erase that division, to erase that delineation, let's say, and to instill an official religion for the United States, which goes against everything we've ever stood for. So if I ignore those things, if I pretend those things aren't real, then that isn't peace. That's delusion. I've recently, there's here on the network, there's a long-standing program on Friday mornings, Ministers Talking Shit, with myself and another minister, Reverend Elzia Sekou. And last week, someone left a comment that said, hey, is there no separation of church and state in CSL? And you guys are just out here whining about the news and da-da-da-da-da. And I would love to share the exact quote. However, the author took it back down before I had a chance to respond to it. However, it reminded me that if the prevailing government doesn't see a separation and wants to create their own version of a state-sponsored religion, then is it not our work to bring more peace by bringing attention to that sense or that false attempt to create division? It gets muddy a little bit sometimes. Being an advocate or being in a demonstration for peace is not just all kumbaya and sitting around the fire and meditating on our cushion. We do have to be willing to get out and do the work and take the risks sometimes to advocate and to demonstrate that we can be peace, but it doesn't just look like turning a blind eye or 12 hours of meditation every day.
Oh, that's a very good point. It's really opening us up to see peace the fullness of it and all the different facets of it. And that includes the fullness of who we are. And if there are if there's a disrespect, we don't want to ignore those things and recognize all those facets that are related to peace. It's as we hear people, peace is not only the absence of war, the absence of conflict. It is respect and understanding and cooperation and recognition of the fullness and richness of people and of faith traditions. Just what you're talking about, life is multifaceted, is rich in its diversity. It just is. And so that's very good what you're talking about there. It really is a time of, well, and you talked about the holiday coming up. It's a time of how we are really looking at what it is to be American, if you will, what it is, what it is for peace. I mean, we're thinking and opening up to thinking about all these things in a new way. Yeah. It's because we're growing. It's the inspiration to grow, right?
Yes.
To evolve. Mm-hmm.
It's the inspiration. It's the process of the evolution. Mm-hmm. I've long said that we're here, humans, and we're in an evolutionary process of human consciousness, of what it means to be human. So we can call it the evolution of humanity. And we can contribute to that, or we can drag our feet and pretend that doesn't happen. Here's an example. The state of Colorado right now is bone dry. It is a literal tinderbox. There are wildfires raging around the state in various areas, one of which just this morning was declared the #1 priority in the nation, because if left unchecked any longer, it could threaten a fairly good-sized metropolitan type area. And we have, I just saw a story yesterday of a house fire that house fires are just springing up because everything is so dry. And there is a community, and not to play politics, but the local GOP has gotten involved. There's a community that canceled their fireworks display. Now, I'm all for it. I like drone shows. I think drone shows are more engaging now than fireworks displays. They don't have the potential to start a fire. They're a lot more peaceful when it comes to our furry friends and our pets. And I don't have to spend the night calming my dogs down when there's a drone show in the neighborhood. But even last night, there were firecrackers. Somebody in the neighborhood started at around midnight for 20 minutes of their own little private firework display. And it's not very peaceful, but my point is a local community canceled their firework display. So a neighboring county's GOP committee decided that they were going to apply for a permit to have an event in the very same park at the very same time as the municipality canceled their fireworks display. Now you can guess what they're going to do, right? Mm-hmm. All that is an attempt to drag our feet and to stay locked in an old consciousness that says the only way to celebrate our freedom is by blowing up stuff, is by sending rockets into the air and trying to recreate a scene that was actually a war. These fireworks displays by their very nature are meant as a celebration of our freedom, but they're only a recreation of what Francis Scott Key was writing about in what he saw, which was war, which were people literally lobbing bombs at each other. Mm-hmm. And we want to celebrate that and not everybody, but a certain portion of the population wants to celebrate that every year, rather than say, hey, let's take a progressive look at this.
Mm.
Let's look at what technology now affords us to be able to do. And let's create a more peaceful way, a more nonviolent way
Mm-hmm.
of celebrating our freedom than just lobbing bombs into the air for
Mm-hmm.
20 minutes.
Well, there you go. That's an insightful way of talking about that and thinking about that, and not reacting and saying, "Oh, but it's always been that way. We have to do it that way." It is looking at it in a thoughtful way, and it is the evolution of the celebration.
Yeah.
Mhm. That's a very good point, and I'm glad that you made that up. I'm sorry, made that up. I'm sorry that you shared that. That you shared that. It's a good point, a very good point. And there's a show on television. We don't watch a whole lot, but now and then, and we came across this, my husband and I, and it was so good. And it was Craig Ferguson. Remember Craig Ferguson? He had a late night show, and it's a 5-part series that they have showed on CNN about, and I might not get the title right. It's American by Choice or something. He chose to come here and to become a citizen,
Right.
and he goes around the country into the nooks and crannies, and he gets to the essence of what it is to be here, and how that is expressed in a whole variety of ways that are changing. And he has this deep appreciation for what the idea of America and the many ways that it is expressed, and that and celebrating that, all the different people and the different activities, and some of them are, I'll call traditional things, but traditional things that have evolved. And that's what we're talking about, traditional things that have evolved. And he does a really good job. It's interesting and and I'll say lively, but then he brings it together into some very thoughtful points about the essence of the idea of America, and that it is, and someone who has come here and can see it kind of with fresh eyes, mhm. And that's what we're, being called here, fresh eyes to see America, fresh eyes, and to understand what came before, but to see it with new awareness, and the same with peace. And in thinking about activities that are happening, we were talking earlier, and I'm going to invite you to talk about the activity at the Empire State Building, and what we can. Again, it's stepping back and listening and looking to what is really happening here. Now, initial reaction, oh, these renegades that went up there and caused a ruckus, but there's something there that we can take from that, and I'm going to invite you to talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Again, I love how spirit works. That I don't know these two folks. So and if anybody's unclear what happened, a couple of Russian citizens, Russian nationalists who are here in America, I understand, on a tourist visa. So they're here as tourists, as visitors, decided to bypass security at the Empire State Building and went to the very top, to the top of the antenna, well above where public access is allowed. That means they did break some laws. They broke a whole bunch of laws, and they climbed to the top. Now, interestingly enough, they also, the gentleman proposed to the woman along the way. So once they had an audience, he got down and presented a ring, and they got engaged, and then they climbed to the top, and they unfurled a banner that was in Russian. And it's a paraphrase of a great quote that a lot of people attribute to Jimi Hendrix. However, historians will say this goes back to a British prime minister, a guy named William Gladstone, and that is that when the love of power, when the power of love overcomes the love of power, the world will know peace. So on July 1st, at the beginning of an American holiday weekend, a Russian couple unfurls a flag, which the internet has been able to turn into a million memes already, unfurls a flag that uses a quote by a British prime minister to promote an understanding of peace. I saw oneness. I didn't see Russian or British or Jimi Hendrix or criminals, or I saw a demonstration of the oneness that is possible, that is already real. Now, I also recognize that while laws were broken, this was done in a non-violent way. Nobody was injured. Nobody was put out. No one had to give up their freedom or their rights for this to happen. The couple that did this knowing that they were risking not only their physical safety, but also their freedom. And they were arrested and they are incarcerated and they are being charged and all these things. They were willing to do that to promote a message of peace. Mm-hmm. So kudos to these two. Kudos to these two. Now, I wouldn't suggest that anybody try to emulate what they did or recreate what they did. Please do not try to climb the Sears Tower in Chicago. Please do not try to get to the top of, well, I hadn't planned this, but don't climb to the top of Trump Hotel in Las Vegas or Trump Tower in New York. Don't try to do this yourself. Truthfully, these folks are trained professionals in this. This is not their first climb. This is not their first attempt at something like this. They know what they're doing when it comes to this stuff. But every one of us has an opportunity to create a banner and stand on a highway overpass, to print a T-shirt and walk around your 4th of July festivities this weekend with a T-shirt that promotes peace, to be the demonstration in the midst of it all. And right now in America, it feels to me and it seems to me like people are more than willing and feeling more than entitled to just spout out whatever hate they have inside themselves for any other group that they might hate. And this is not based on political lines, folks. This is not red versus blue. This is anybody, anywhere. I have seen the hatred flowing from one side of the aisle to the other and back again, and it's going back and forth so fast it's creating a feedback loop in human consciousness right now. In American culture, there is a massive feedback loop that nobody can hear what anybody else is saying because we're all screaming. Sorry, not all, but there are so many people screaming hatred for those that don't think like they do, that we're losing sight of our oneness in all this. Mm-hmm. Yes. And but let's get involved this holiday weekend. Walk around with a flag that's got a peace sign on it. Don't give in to the hatred. Don't meet. Somebody gives you the one finger salute in traffic, don't return the favor. If you can't, and if you can't keep it yourself under control, then go home and shout in a pillow, but don't shout at your neighbor. Mm-hmm. If the guy next door is blowing off fireworks at midnight, don't go out there and yell at him. Pick up your phone, use the app, and report the illegal firework. Let the police deal with that. Let those that are trained deal with those things. But I think the most valuable resource I have, the most valuable gift I have to give, is my ability to remain peaceful in the midst of the war, in the midst of the violence, in the midst of the hatred, is to not feed it, but stay on that side of being a demonstration of peace.
Oh my goodness. Thank you. That is so well said. and what to take from what we saw in a thoughtful way, and that gift that to be the demonstration of peace. And it isn't pretending that didn't happen. It's not turning away, but it's taking something from that. Look what I can learn here. Look what I can be here, and to, as you said, to go out on an overpass. I mean, these are nonviolent things to do that are expressing, it's using our voice, our being, or to wear it, to wear this shirt, and to if there's something going on in the neighborhood, to not react. But these are the activities of life, and that is being a peace influencer. See, we can each do that. Yeah. Being a peace influencer is not something overwhelming. It is thoughtful, and it is being the peace that we are. Oh, those are such good examples, and I appreciate you sharing those. And this is a good time for us to take a break. We can reflect for a moment here. We're gonna step off the screen here. Reverend Dr. Robert and myself. I'm going to show a couple quick informational videos here, and we'll be back in just a couple of minutes. So thank you, and stay tuned here, and we will be back shortly. But I have some great nuggets to share with you.
New Thought Media Network proudly presents the Global Heart of Peace's Peace Party. Celebrate the many paths to peace. Explore an exciting life of peace. Embody joyous peace. Come to our weekly Peace Party, Mondays at 5 p.m. Mountain Time. Only on New Thought Media Network. www.ntmedia.org.
What if you had a place to return to every day for peace, clarity, and connection? The New Thought Ministry of Prayer offers live morning and evening prayer, along with a growing library you can access anytime. This is a space for reflection, renewal, and real spiritual practice, rooted in the understanding that something greater is already alive within you. You are welcome here. Join us live or watch anytime. The New Thought Ministry of Prayer, part of the New Thought Media Network. Come, take a moment for what matters most.
There we go. Other tools that we have here at the New Thought Media Network to inspire peace. We have the each day live affirmative prayer, 8:15 a.m. and 8:15 p.m., the New Thought Ministry of Prayer. Again, here every day to inspire that regular practice. And we have another show here on peace. It's a 15-minute show, Peace Party, that gives practical ideas, just like what we're doing here, practical ideas to recognize the many facets of peace and the many ways to express that. And I want to take a moment here before we move along here and invite you for if you're feeling inspired and uplifted and opened up here by what you're hearing here on Peace Dialogues. We welcome your support, one time or ongoing, at this link here at the givebutter.com/peace-dialogues. Your gifts are welcome, and they help to support, expand, and enrich this goodness that we're doing in the world. So thank you so much for your support, and thank you, Reverend Dr. Robert Brzezinski, here with us this morning, or afternoon or evening, whenever you are watching this. And I will put this down here. Oh, we've been talking here, oh my goodness, about the evolution of our awareness and understanding and beingness of peace, and related it to the celebration this weekend in our country, and what did the idea of America, and what we can do when we see activities out in the world, what we can learn and do each day in being peace. And I thought when that this is a good opportunity to circle back around to in the New Thought philosophy, and certainly one of the great teachings in New Thought is religious science, which is expresses the Centers for Spiritual Living, and Ernest Holmes, the wise founder of religious science of mind, was oh my goodness, had beautiful ideas about recognizing and practicing and being peace. And one that we had talked about before, and I'll bring up here, and I know that will lead to other discussion. Ernest Holmes talked about, and this is in the book, Living the Science of Mind. And he talked about the spiritual chain reaction, about, we can relate it to peace here, about that beingness of peace in all the things that we do each day, and that whole idea of a ripple effect. But it's that mindful, this spiritual chain reaction. It isn't a passing idea. It is a mindful idea that I am, I see good in each person that I see today. And I honor that good in how I interact with them, whether I know them or I don't. And I'm sure you have other things to add to that, Reverend Dr. Robert. But that whole idea of a spiritual chain reaction, and how we are each a part of that. And he likened it to a chain reaction in, a chain reaction in a chemical reaction. You know, how there's one step that leads to another. But from the spiritual sense, how that one leads to another.
Yeah, absolutely. I do love the idea, and I love the concept of the chain reaction, because it requires, and there's an old saying, right? A chain is only as strong as its weakest link. What we do here on this network, and what I believe the New Thought movement promotes for everyone, is to strengthen ourselves as a link in that chain. Mm-hmm. That's what the Peace Party is all about. It gives us an opportunity not only to tune in on Mondays, but there's a playlist on YouTube. You can tune in anytime. When things are going wrong, when things don't feel right, when life kind of feels like poo-poo, tune into an episode. Pull up your YouTube and find the links and tune into an episode and allow yourself to be strengthened. That's what our prayer team does. Allow ourselves to be strengthened. And I think the greatest gift that religious science specifically and New Thought in general gives the world is the technology of a spiritual retreat. Because what we're doing is we're reminding ourselves of a truth. And as we learn through different trainings and through our educational programs, is that we can know that truth for another. Now, it doesn't mean they're going to know that truth immediately, but I can claim for them the experience of knowing that there is more peace on the planet. And in a consciousness of oneness, I see our dear brother, Reverend Dr. Raymond Anderson's thrown us a little heart there and a peace symbol on YouTube. Good to see you, Brother Raymond. And I can know that even in the midst of what he may be experiencing in his life, I can claim an experience of peace that will help to strengthen his link in the chain. Now, he may not be in that place where he's ready to experience peace around what's going on. And he might need to still be in that place of grief, or that place of pushing back against something. And if that's so, okay, but let's know a greater sense of peace so that he knows it's available, so he can feel the vibration that's available. One of the things that I use to kind of tag into this chain of experience is the concept of a transceiver. So I've been a skier for a long, long time, professional, all that kind of stuff. And if you go skiing in avalanche country, you really ought to have what's known as a transceiver. Now, it's simply a radio, but it's a radio unit that can both transmit a signal and receive a signal. So if you're skiing and skiing in dangerous terrain, you're transmitting a signal. So if you happen to get buried, everyone else can turn their radio to receive and locate you, find you, dig you out of the avalanche, and hopefully save you before you run out of oxygen. In the spiritual world, we are transceivers of these vibrations that are out in the world. So there's a vibration of love and the vibration of peace and the vibration of beauty and order and all the various frequencies that we live within. And I have to be a transceiver, which means I receive peace, but it's not good enough to just to know peace. I have to transmit that back out. And as I transmit peace out, I can also turn my radio and receive it sometimes. And sometimes I'm not there. Sometimes I'm upset with what's going on in the world. Sometimes I might be angry. And that's the time where I need to be able to turn the radio frequency a little and receive and allow the peace that is around me, allow my colleagues and my friends to inspire or inform me or remind me through prayer, through the peace party, through dialogues like this, through the little things I keep around on my desk. I have little reminders. I'm a tactile learner. I have little reminders on my desk that peace is the way. And when I'm full up again, when I've received enough to feel that, then I can transmit that out and share that with others and claim peace for others so that they may feel that vibration. And that's how we strengthen the vibration. That's how we strengthen that's how we create a world that works for all, is by constantly receiving and transmitting.
Oh, that's a very good explanation. We're getting a bit of feedback here. That's a very good explanation. Thank you for sharing that. And I have the address up here. If you're watching this, you would know this, but just as a reminder of the tools that you're talking about, of the tools of affirmative prayer, of the ideas in Peace Party and other shows that are on the network here, to continue to practice that and that receptivity and that givingness, because as we learn, we live in a reciprocal universe. It is that giving, it is that receiving, and as we in spiritual mind treatment, it opens that up. It inspires movement, and when there's a receptivity there, and for someone who's in the midst of something challenging, there is that, when you plant that seed of speaking that word, it inspires a movement where ideas flow and come, or there's an inspiration to do or to hear, and there's a feeling that goes with that. And so all of these nurture, as you said, to continue to nurture ourselves as I love that analogy with the transponder. That is very, very good. Oh, oh yeah. Oh no, that's very, very good. And you're reminding me, I was thinking about something else that Reverend, or that Dr. Holmes spoke a lot about. Talked about embodying, and the embodying peace. And embodying peace, it is seen, and it relates certainly to love. And we were talking earlier about oneness, and it, seeing that out everywhere, seeing it everywhere in nature, to recognize the intelligence of the divine in nature, in all the activities that we see, and even when it doesn't appear to be so. And that is a helpful idea related to peace. Peace isn't about a little bit here and a little bit there, or or that person is good, but that person is not. It is that fullness, that and embodying in what we see, what we do, what we think. And it's not meant to be overwhelming. The idea is that if we separate or see, oh, God or the divine here, but not over here, we're not recognizing the fullness and the richness of it. And again, as Reverend Dr. Robert said, that doesn't mean that it's easy. And that's why we're here, to offer the tools to God for all of us. All of us have these experiences of life, whether it's close by around us or as we're looking out into the world. But peace is, it is practicing each day. But the peace that we feel within, we're nurturing that, we're starting there, and how fulfilling that is.
I love that you bring this up, because there's a phrase that's kind of floated into my language lately, and that is embrace, embody, and express. And that's the kind of how it happens. You hear something new, and you have to come to an embrace of it. You have to come to believe that it's possible. You have to come to an understanding of the language or the teaching or whatever it may be. But then we have to move into the embodiment of it. And I think in many ways, and this is not a wholesale accusation of the entire movement or all the people in it, but in many ways, New Thought is a philosophy of the mind. And people can get stuck in, I understand this stuff. But the real proof, I think, is, am I embodying it? Have I made it part of how I show up? Have I made it part of how I live my life? Because then, once I have, then I'm able to express it into the world. And then it becomes the demonstration. So one of the ways I look at this is the antithesis of the embodiment, especially of peace, is anxiety. And if we look at America right now, we could say there is an epidemic of anxiety. More people claim it. More people say they're anxious about things, or they're feeling anxiety, or my anxiety's kicking in around that. Our language has come to center around owning a sense of anxiety. What if we did the same thing around peace? Hey, my peace is kicking in here. Feeling kind of good about what's going on. I'm feeling hopeful about what's happening in the world. Or, I'm going to step away from this conversation because I want to feel more peace. Or I'm going to take myself out of this event because I'd like to feel more peace in my life. And the embodiment means things like, I don't get up in the morning and immediately go into a checklist of all the things I have to do. Spend a little bit of time in the morning before I get out of bed, tuning into a sense of peace.
There we go.
A friend of mine and I have been working on this idea of incorporating the Muslim tradition of 5 daily prayers along with the 5 steps of treatment, of spiritual mind treatment. The first step of treatment, any student of religious science knows, the first step is to realize, or realization, to realize the presence of the divine, of the oneness of God, or however you want to name it. So what if, rather than, and I fall into this trap, right? I keep my phone on my nightstand, because I like to listen to some meditation music as I go to sleep. And so it's there in the morning. And I sometimes forget, and I roll out of bed and the phone is there. And so I pick it up, and I immediately, you're looking at the news and everybody telling you what's wrong in the world. What if, when you recognize you're no longer asleep, you actually spent 5 minutes, stay in that cozy bed, stay in that comfortable space in consciousness, and spend 5 minutes in that first step of treatment. Just recognizing, just realizing that there is a one power
Mm-hmm.
presence, one infinite intelligence, that it's operating as my life, that it's going to
Mm-hmm.
operate through and as my life, as beauty and health and wealth, and that it is the wellspring of prosperity this day, that it is the everything, and it is the no thing, and it is peace on this planet, and that vibration of peace is available to me right now. And if I spend just a few moments in that consciousness before my feet hit the floor, before my hand hits the phone, before my mind starts racing down that track of what has to happen and what am I going to have for breakfast and is there enough shampoo to take a shower this morning and all those things, spend 5 minutes in the vibration of peace, and I can guarantee you your life will change.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love that. That is so, I mean, it's practical, and it aligns right with new thought, and it is applying it. It isn't just talking about it or reading about it. It is using it. And I'm that's beautiful. That's really the difference that makes, and that to do that each day, not here and there. I mean, it's okay, but each day, and you get into that, and to start the day, because that aligns you right with the good, and it isn't ignoring or pretending or putting hand in the sand. I'm aligning with the truth of what is.
And if you miss a day, that's okay. Don't beat yourself up about it, right? If you miss a day, you miss a day.
Mm-hmm.
There is no better moment to start than this moment. There's no better moment to come to a realization of truth than this moment. So when there's no better moment to express peace than this one. And so if you miss it, if you forget and you suddenly realize, hey, I'm in the shower and I haven't done my peace practice yet, put there. If you're downstairs having breakfast or you're out taking the dog for a walk and you realize, hey, I haven't done this, do it right there. This is, we live in a state of consciousness that allows us to shift our awareness, to shift our thinking, to shift our consciousness at any moment. So no matter how hard it might be, no matter how mad I might be, no matter how upset I might be, and I've got grown children, so I had plenty of practice of getting upset with teenagers and middle schoolers, and I drive a vehicle on the highway, so I have plenty of opportunities to practice all these things. Shift your consciousness in the moment to one of peace. And as our analogy of the transceiver will remind us, if I'm casting peace into the world, then that peace has got to be coming back to me as well.
Mm-hmm. That's wonderful. And I'm glad that you brought up the transceiver again. We have Reverend Dr. Arnold Murray is joining us here, and thank you. He said, I love the transceiver analogy. And it is a good analogy. I'm working with that, and that's a good way to understand and remind. And then what you were just talking about, that when we wake up, those first moments, that recognition, that first step. And that is, circling back to Holmes about the embodying. It is that recognition of it, because when we say oneness, that's a very extensive idea. Oneness is one. Oneness is oneness. It's everything. Yep. You recognize the presence everywhere in every moment. And, you can say that and think that's a beautiful idea. But, to really, again, embody it, that's practice. And recognizing that each day, because the activities of life can pull you away, but we have the choice, as you said, to be awake and aware, if you will, to choose and to bring ourselves back. That's some really wonderful ideas here, and we're coming toward the end of our program, and I want to invite you, if there was something else you wanted to be sure to include here today, another point or another idea. I want to make sure that you do. You've shared so many already, and we're blessed. But if there's something else that a tool or an idea or something here on the New Thought Media Network, if there's something else that you would like to share, I certainly invite you to do that.
Yes, thank you. The biggest thing in all of this, folks, to me, is I always, anytime I'm given an opportunity to share something, I want to share my gratitude. I want to share my gratitude for you, Reverend Christy, for being a part of what we're doing with New Thought Media Network, for being a part of the New Thought Ministry of Prayer, for bringing a show forward that supports others. I want to express gratitude for anybody that's watching now or in another time. And I want to express and share my gratitude that I get to do this stuff. I get to be in a place with all the boards that I serve on and all the organizations I'm a part of and all the ways that I'm bringing forward this message through my writing on Substack, through YouTube videos, through newer ideas, through a book that's coming real soon, and through all the various avenues. My life and my ministry are better because of the people that are in it. Not because of the people that I'm serving, but because of the people that have chosen to say, yes, I want some of that. I want to express that as well. I want to be a little more peaceful in my life, or I want to be a whole lot more peaceful. I want to be more love in the world. I want to be more prosperous in the world. I want to bring more of all these things that the New Thought philosophy teaches. If I look back at the trajectory of my life before it intersected New Thought, and specifically the religious science and the science of mind, if I look back at where I was headed and where the trajectory was going, I can't possibly believe that I would be so in love with life at this juncture. This philosophy has given me everything: opportunity, a fabulous family, an amazingly beautiful and loving relationship with my wife, with all of that has come into my experience over the last 20 plus years now, 25 years now, in this philosophy. I don't want to think about where I would have ended up, my ego, where my humanness, where the party animal that I was headed. It is because of hearing a truth and then following that truth. And I always like to say there's real power in the term religious scientist. Because it demands that we prove these principles. And the only laboratory we have as scientists is life, our own lives. So we go forth into this philosophy to prove these principles work in our own lives. And as we do, then, just back to our transceiver, once I've proven it in my life, then I have the ability, the opportunity, and the vibration to go and prove this in the organizations that I serve, in the places where I show up in the world, at those on the school board, in town councils, in city council. If you're, right now I'm on a big kick, run for something. If you're a religious scientist, if you're a new thoughter and you believe this stuff and you're proving this stuff, then let's get rid of this false belief in the separation of church and state, and let's run for something. And let's use this in that arena of life. And if that's not your thing, that's fine. But by creating more of this in my life, I feel I'm better able to serve and bring this philosophy into the organizations, the communities that I'm a part of, the ways I get to serve. And that's how we're going to change the world. Not some grand waving of the wand and some grand initiative that browbeats everybody on the planet into thinking like we do. We got enough of that in organized religion. Let's be the organized religion. Let's be the organized philosophy that empowers people to make a shift, again, first in our own lives, then in our communities and the organizations we're a part of. And that is what's going to change the world.
Oh, that is beautiful. It is the livingness. It is being. That's being the expression of spirit in the world. It is that givingness of life to itself through us. And oh, that's beautiful. Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness, that brings everything together perfectly from today. Oh my goodness, thank you. Oh, and thank you to all who joined us today, and look forward to others watching this as a recording. And you can go to NT Media. Oh no, I'm sorry, YouTube.com/New Thought Media Network, and this episode and others are on there, and of all the different shows. So it is that continual practice, that enrichment, that being the beautiful expression of spirit that we are, right? Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you, and much appreciated. And we'll look forward to doing this again with you, and we'll look forward to others joining us again as well. So thank you, and until the next time, peace and blessings. Mm-hmm.
Thanks for being here and taking this time to practice peace with us. Join us again next week, Thursdays at 9 a.m. on the New Thought Media Network for another live session. And you can always catch past episodes on our YouTube channel. Until then, sending you waves of peace and blessings. We'll see you next time.